Okay, go for it. Hello, and welcome to Also Driven. We're in a park with lots of other cars. Want to go for a walk around with me and we'll have a look at some of these? So first up, a couple of my neighbours beside the Marea. We got a Monte Carlo. No, I can't remember because this one's got the glass flying buttresses and I can't remember if it's an earlier one or a later one, but if it's a Y-Reg, I'm going to say it's a later one. And it's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. I have to say, one thing I've always liked about these cars is Lancia did really nice interiors in the 1970s. Way nicer than what you got on a lot of other sports cars, especially the seats. The seats, I mean, where do you see the detail on this seat? Just look at that. The way the plastic molding, it's got those little holes in them. The seat fabric goes into the rear parcel shelf fabric. It's in the doors. That is really nice. And then beside it, little Alfa Spider. It's really quite nice.
I can't remember how I did it, but you definitely feel it. Just get the right so.
And that is the cam tail one. I really should learn more about these earlier cars. Yeah, I think that's the cam tail one as opposed to the boat tail. So it's a little bit later. And also it's K-Reg, so someone will fill me in on what K-Reg is. This is the worst thing about growing up in Northern Ireland. We didn't do the letters. So I've got Pete's little Panda 1000 Super. This is actually identical to my car, believe it or not, except for obviously it's red. And that's what my interior should look like. Although mine's a little bit more worn because I've got 164,000 miles in my car. And I got some red thing. Don't know what that is. Don't know. Don't care. Anyway, nice ABARTH. We did discuss this. Apparently these are two friends who came along to the show. The Golf is here because it is an Italian design. Giorgetto Giugiaro designed that. That's probably a terrible pronunciation. If Matteo from Roadster Life is watching this, he'll be really upset at my terrible pronunciation of these things. Anyway, the sud is beautiful. I think that's probably better than it left the factory. Then we got a bit of a rarity. The new ABARTH Electric 500. Must have just see if I can find the guy that owns this and see if he'll let us have a poke around it later. But I just think that's absolutely amazing looking. I know it sort of, loses practicality because of the EV thing, because of the small battery. Yeah, it's quite nice. So the little details are quite cool. I do like these little details. Yeah, quite like that. See if I can come back to it. I got another thing, whatever that is. Very nice Alfa. One of the Punto ABARTHs. They're quite nice. Do you have this? I really do quite like these. What do you call Fiatas? Yeah, Fiat. Do quite like this. And then we've got a Maserati. Don't know which one. Not really good at these ones.
Mirac.
Thank you. It's a Mirac. This nice man has just told me. Barchetta. Most gorgeous looking Mark 1 Fiat Punto you'll ever see. Absolutely gorgeous thing. So one of the things I've always really liked about this is the one-piece nose cone, which was probably an absolute nightmare to fix in the event of an accident. But those front wings have no joins really, the whole way around. Obviously then you've got the bonnet that fits straight in, kind of has that, very kind of Italian style to it. The door handles where you push that little button and then the silver part, that's really dainty. Little metal door handles. Again, at the rear, you've got this one piece A lot of design has gone into this, and of course, obviously, the color-coded interiors. Normally, they wouldn't have come with a wood trim. They're either black plastic or you got a silver. But yeah, do quite like that. Obviously owned by someone who's a bit of a fan. Another little 500. Classic 500. 600. These are always good. Oh, actually, it's a 750. Oh, does that make it a Zastava? Is this a Zastava? No, it's Fiat. Fiat 600. Oh, fun little thing. Could be really, really cruel and say it's a Corsa. Oh, we got a Panda. Hello, Panda. Always just love these. I mean, I have one of these back home in Ireland, and I absolutely adore them. Really, really do. Very nice bit of kit. They're amazing in the city, and they're really, really space efficient. Even Sean likes it, which is unusual because him and I never agree on cars. And another Barchetta. Now, this one is Colin's, the guy who's running the show, and he's just had some work done on this one quite recently. Because unfortunately, they do tend to rust quite a bit. It's just one of the downsides, I think, of them being quite handmade. I'd say they were the whole thing was sort of farmed out to I think basically, as I say, a bodybuilding company that on behalf of Fiat, and I can't actually remember their name, but I think they also made a lot of buses. But you can see more of the original interior in this one, because this one's a much earlier car, so you've got a lot of the blacker trim, body coloured and tied. Very nice condition. As I say, Colin has looked after this one very well. I'm going to say ideal 2-car garage. Love it. Beautiful Alfa 75 there. Absolutely stunning. Very unusual interior with the red and the black. Left-hand drive. Very nice. Yeah, I just assumed as much. I'm quite glad it was. That's quite exciting. I think that custom-made radio was probably worth more than my car, let alone what the rest of the Alfa's worth. Wow, that is really stunning. Alfa 6. This is where Matteo would be very annoyed at me for not recognising an Alfa 6, as it's one of his passions. Right-hand drive. So, UK car. Time has been kind to this on the inside. By the way, I absolutely adore those buttons. So they're inside the instrument binnacle. So you kind of nearly could reach through the steering wheel to get them. Also, you've got a little gear selector there from the automatic gearbox. So obviously you've got your automatic gearbox down there, but then in front of you, it also tells you what gear you're in. 4 electric windows in very Italian position. Yeah, because I'm just looking in the back, and even though you get an ashtray, you don't get an electric window switch in the back. You only get electric window switches just there. Italian. Another Spider with a cam tail. Then we have Britain's cleanest Italia 90. It's owned by a guy called John Corbett, I know. He has spent an absolute fortune on this car. Been to the Festival of the Unexceptional, as in the concourse. So this was the 1990 logo for the Italian World Cup. John spent a lot of time and effort getting every single one of these little things available. Unfortunately, Italy got kicked out of the World Cup very early in 1990, so a lot of these cars actually ended up having all the graphics taken off them, and obviously the very unique hubcaps, and returned just to standard 750 spec. Because, I mean, if you look at the seats, you can see the seats are the original Panda style with the hammock in the back and the stretch covers in the front, so those can be taken off and thrown into the washing machine very, very easily. So it was very easy to revert the cars back to just standard spec, the ones that didn't sell. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous car. Bonus points if anybody remembers what the icon for the Italia 90 was called, that little character. I think it was called Melo or something like that. That is just gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful. We have interlopers. I have to say, as places to actually have a car show, this really does, you know, it's a good place to take a car show. We've got a couple more arrived over here, so we'll go have a look at these. This little orange Panda, I think, is one of my favorites, so let's go have a look at that. So regular viewers will know that we're walking towards these two cars, and that I'm going to be more interested in one than the other, so I'll let you take a guess. Yep, it's the Panda. So this is a Fiat Panda Cross. Now, it's had a little bit of extra adornment. So the grey stripe that goes along the top of the doors, it wasn't standard from the factory. But everything else is pretty standard. This sort of accoutrements on the top I always thought was really quite cool. It does absolutely nothing, but it just sort of makes it look like as if you're sort of like driving the Paris-Dakar in it. Oh, it's even got an orange interior. This is a really super posh one. It's got the split fold slidey rear seat, which is quite cool. So you can kind of move that seat back and forth as you need to. Air conditioning and 5-speed gearbox and 4-wheel drive. Okay, so the nerdtastic thing about this car is those are the tail lights from the Fiat Coupe. They didn't actually make new tail lights for this car. They just made some moldings and they put the Fiat Coupe lights into them. And then just filled this in because this on my car is actually where the normal lights are. Oh, nice GTV. Nah, I'm definitely sold on this one. Something I have never seen on a Fiat Panda. Headlight washers. Never seen them before. So, back to the electric ABARTH. Alex brought it along, guy in the red shirt just back there. It's literally one of two in the UK at the minute. Shmee has the other one. And he's just holding court over there, explaining to everybody how the noise generator works. And it is a 1960s Fiat 500 ABARTH with a posh exhaust noise. And he's telling me that they may in the future allow you to download different noises for the car, so that you can actually have the car sound differently depending on what your mood is. But the normal 500, I think, plays a little bit of opera as you drive along. But this is quite cool. I quite like this. A little bit, you could probably say it's maybe a little bit tacky, but I don't know. Maybe just with it being Italian, I think you can get away with it. Little look inside. Alcantara on the dashboard. Alcantara on the seats. Oh, you have Isofix in the front. I'm sure lots of cars have that now, but I'm just not really a big fan of modern cars. Yeah, you could probably squeeze me in the back of this. It's not as bad as a Ford car. Do like it. There's all the little details on it. Oh, I know lots of people have probably seen this on the 500, but you have electric door opening. But because it's Italian, obviously they realize that not everything is going to always work. So you have a manual release down there. It's all a bit pointless, but at the same time, incredible fun. So earlier on tonight, I said this was called Milo, and I got it wrong. What is it called, John?
It's called Ciao, which is the Italian for
Hello?
hello.
And hello!
Hello!
Had a quick chat with John there. Got all the lowdown on the Panda, so I was slightly out about the rebadged cars. They didn't change the interiors on them, but they did take the stickers off. And it was because England got kicked out of the World Cup, not because Italy got kicked out of the World Cup. Because why would you want your dealership with, like, Go England, when they were on the plane home? Speaking of people going home, this looks nice. The Alfa 6 has left the building. Oh, we have a little last minute arrival. Not very Italian, but you know, different. Oh, I can't remember. Altazan. They were what, Mazda by another name? Can't even remember. Z1. I'm sure somebody will remember what it is. But yeah, it's a little K car. You've probably seen on the channel before, we've had the S660. This was obviously back in the day the competitor to the Honda Beat. Not very Italian, but you know, it's a fun little thing to bring along. And you know, we did have a naughty corner at the show where you could bring things that weren't Italian. So there's actually a little march down there as well. Just got chatting to the owner of this facelifted Barchetta. He was basically very honest about the whole one, because he says this is one that nobody likes. But I'm gonna have to say that in black with those wheels, I'm gonna say that's actually quite stunning, and I would be quite happy with that. Little old lady owner, not very many miles, came with a full kit, so it's got like the hard top, it's got the wind deflector, got a nice little interior on it, and if we can zoom in on there, don't know if you can see that or not, but it's got 20,000 miles on it, which is lovely, very, very nice. So this is Colin, who actually organised today's event, which now looks like there's nothing here, but if we spin around this way, you can still see there's, oh no, we'll do that one, because there's lots of nice cars, and there's a Ferrari or Lamborghini or something about to go behind us. There we go, couldn't have timed that better. Anyway, have you been rewarded by today's event? Have you thought it was a good turnout? Did you enjoy it?
I've enjoyed it now it's started. I'll enjoy it even more when it's finished. Been blown away by how many cars. It's been fantastic. The weather's been great, and just having a whale of a time. And
so you did this as a bit of a fundraiser?
Fundraiser for our theatre. We're getting a new building put on the back, just behind, and we're just trying to create the funds just to finish that off, really, and get it up off the ground. So I came up with this idea because of my idiotic love of Italian cars.
Which is actually just behind us, so if I can do my finger thing, you can just see Colin's Barchetta is just there. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're gonna wind up today over here. It's been an absolutely amazing little evening. It's a 300-mile round trip for me to get here, but it was kind of so worth it. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And we'll catch you in the next one. And now I've got 150 miles to drive back to Anglesey. Bye. Little footnote from tonight. Was parking the car just as I rocked up, and this guy bounces over with his wife, and he goes, "This car's from Manchester?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he went, "And it was DC Cook that sold it. Do you know it was DC Cook that sold it?" And I went, "Yeah." And he went, "I sold this car brand new." And I was like, "What?" And he went, "Yeah, we had a whole load of these in, and they were all like heavily discounted base model cars, and I sold it. And for whatever reason, I remember the registration of this car, this V109 FNE, it's stuck in my head." And I seen it and I went, "I know that car from somewhere." And he kind of just went, "I remembered, I sold this car." So this weird little connection to this seaside town just outside Blackpool. Had a guy at an Italian car show tonight who, as I say, actually sold my car when it was brand new in 1999. It's a nice little way to end the night. Anyway, thank you for watching. I may have said that before, and if I haven't, then I have again. Anyway,